When do we want it? Now!
Have it. You're standing on City Hall steps.
Yeah, you can.
I did.
Yeah, that one. And all these people. Right.
Uno. How's everybody doing? Ready to start? Perfect. So thank you everybody for being here today. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Thank you to the media for coming. Just to make clear, we are here today because of the comments from our mayor and some elected officials about what's going on in the city. This is the community wants to send a clear message that we all want a better city, but we all need to work together, and we don't need to send messages to divide our community. Thank you for coming. Is that right? Perfecto. Gracias. Estamos aquí para mandar un mensaje claro, para pedir un paro a que utilicen nuestra comunidad inmigrante como motivo para dividirnos y para culparnos de cosas que necesitan un trabajo más largo y no utilizar un grupo para culpabilizarlo por los problemas. So, thank you everybody for coming. So, let's start with our speakers. Our first speaker is Carla Moniz. She's a member of the Lynn Parents Organizing for a Better Education, a group of parents that is working to improve the education system in Lynn. So let's welcome Carla Moniz.
Thank you everyone for coming out. As Jose said, my name is Carla Moniz. I'm a parent and a resident of Lynn. One of the many reasons my spouse and I moved to Lynn almost 9 years ago was because we wanted to live in a community that embraced diversity and was inclusive. So you can imagine how disheartening it was to hear our mayor and superintendent speak to conservative anti-immigrant media outlets blaming unaccompanied minors escaping humanitarian crisis for the funding school issues in Lynn. The funding school issue in Lynn that's been happening for years. That in fact the city has been underfunding our schools. Instead of discussing generalizations and making comments, how about we deal with the real issues? And the facts is, Lynn has been underfunding our schools for years. I can go back as far as 1996 when we fell below the state requirement of 100%. But let's just talk about some facts. In 2011, it was 99.5%. In 2012, it was 98.3%. In 2013, it was 94.3%. And now in 2014, we're looking at 92.1%. These are facts. And as these numbers show more. Every year when 100% of the funding goes below the state requirement, there are rollover amounts. Rollover amounts for the following year. We're at risk of receiving penalties. Penalties that we've already been penalized. We're jeopardizing our state funding. Our state funding, which is the majority of the funding that Lynn receives for our schools. This is why we have outdated books. This is why we have libraries without librarians. why our teachers don't have the adequate, innovative resources to teach our children, why our buildings are falling apart. This is why. Unlike what our mayor and superintendent stated to the media, our dropout rates have actually decreased. Our graduation rates have actually increased. Again, let's talk about some facts. Let's talk about some facts and stop making generalizations. In 2008 and 2009, our dropout rate was 6.1%. In 2012-2013, our dropout rate decreased to 4.8%. Our graduation rate, let's talk about our graduation rate. And hey, let's talk about the numbers. In graduation, our rate was 2006 at 64.4%. In 2013, it was 73.7%. Given the numbers we just discussed and the underfunding that our schools have been, these numbers could only be a direct result of our hardworking, dedicated, and devoted teachers. That wasn't the message portrayed by our mayor and superintendent to the media. Let's be clear. Education is not a privilege. It is a right. It is a right. It is a right for all students. All students, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their identity, and regardless of their immigration status. Unfortunately, that's not the message being sent. Unfortunately, our mayor and superintendent haven't been showing that picture of our city. They've been insinuating. Let me take a step back. Our mayor could have gone to the media and could have asked the federal government to step up. That as our country and our city responds and addresses this humanitarian crisis, that we needed additional funding outside the regular channels of school funding. Right. Our mayor could have done that. Our mayor didn't. Our mayor and superintendent insinuated that these students were to blame for our funding issues and our actions that our city's been doing for years. Insinuated that, in fact, perhaps these students weren't even students. Perhaps they were adults. Insinuated that they had ulterior motives to obtaining an education in our schools. They even went further to suggest that these youth were a result of our trash problem in Lynn. Really? Really? Unlike other neighboring city officials who have stood up and standed to embrace the diversity in their community, who have sent a message to the public that their cities will not accept intolerance, our mayor and our superintendent has given the perception to our city and to the country that we are not a welcoming, inclusive city. But they don't speak for us. When I see here small business owners, non-profits providing vital services, residents of Lynn concerned, I see our city.
No, you don't.
Thank you so much. I hope that our mayor stops scapegoating you and stops playing politics and starts putting children first, all children. Thank you.
Gracias a Carla, padres organizando para una mejor educación. Démosle las gracias. So the next speaker is Reverend Jane Gong from St. Stephen Episcopal Church. She's going to give us some special words. Let's welcome her.
I'm Reverend Jane Gould from St. Stephen's Episcopal Church here on the Common and Echo. A couple weeks ago, my brother-in-law, who enjoys reading right-wing blogs, sent me a post. My city had yet again made the news. We seem to only make the news for anti-immigrant comments, gay bashing, and bullying. Those are the last 3 times my brother-in-law has sent me stories of Lynn. I wonder why the stories I'm hearing are not stories of the Latino who graduated in June from Lynn Tech, who has gotten a full ride to college. This young man was born to a This young man was born to a 16-year-old mother, and she and he have been faithful to one another, faithful to the potential in him, and yet we do not, either in our city or in the national press, read his story. In my faith tradition as a Christian pastor, what I know is that God tells us to welcome the alien in our midst. God tells us to show hospitality to immigrants. God tells us to welcome and care for children, to care for the least of these, because that is how we will be judged, how we treat the least among us. But you know, I believe also in a Savior who himself was a refugee. Yes, Jesus, in whom I place my trust, fled his homeland. He fled it because forces of oppression dominated his land, and because they were killing the children. He fled. My faith tradition tells me that there is no choice but to stand up and be counted with the immigrants, with the children, with the people of our city.